Bitcoin bounced nearly 4%, trading close to $25,000, a level that it hasn't seen since August of last year. Ether rose nearly 3.5%, crossing the $1,700 level, and the Matic token soared a whopping 8%.
There's nothing that says Bitcoin can't run to 30,000. I in particular don't think it will here. I think 25 might be the near-term top, and I think you have to be very careful here. The earmarks of the Bitcoin move this morning and into today, exactly what a blow-off top in the near term looks like. So I'm very cautious here, folks.
Despite Gary Gensler hawking down on crypto last week, Bitcoin rallied to over $24,000, reaching the highest peak since June of last year, which is about 8 months ago. Can't be a flash in the pan, right? Bitcoin is evidently trying to break its price ceiling, and everyone is asking, can the number one crypto break into the $30,000 price? Many experts, including Gareth Soloway, believe that the 30,000 price is the ceiling that Bitcoin needs to break to indicate that the bull market was in. For now, he's not convinced and says that he has reasons to believe that Bitcoin is going to fall back to $18,000. So why is Gareth shorting Bitcoin? That is what we're about to find out after you hit that subscribe button and join our community.
The FOMO is alive and well out there, and I mentioned earlier about that kind of rejuvenation of 2021 when everything was so great, and I think you're getting a lot of that buying from the retail crowd where they're just jumping in. They remember how amazing 2021 was. The problem is that you didn't have rates at 5%. You didn't have the Fed not printing money, right? The Fed was printing money. The government was sending out checks. So financially, the system is much different than it was back there, and I do think that people need to be a little bit cautious. But you're right. I mean, there's nothing that says Bitcoin can't run to 30,000. I in particular don't think it will here. I think 25 might be the near-term top. But you're right. When it comes to this kind of momentum-driven Wall Street bets crowd psychology, there's no doubt that you could see some continuation in the near term. Well, I would say look for a retrace on Bitcoin down to about 18,000 and change. There'll be major support there. I know that's a big drop from here, no doubt about it. But I do think, again, as you see the rates stay higher for longer, it's going to take the case away from bullish on Bitcoin and some of these other trades that have been running lately, like Tesla. Even as much as I think the markets are still going to go down another 25% in 2023, I still think that you have to look for a technical bounce at that level. Okay, we had basically zero interest rates. We had the Fed printing money. We had the government printing money and sending checks out. We had, people able to buy homes at essentially, 3% or under mortgage rates. We now have 7% mortgage rates for 30-year loans. So there's a lot of different things here that the markets are dealing with, which is why I would be very concerned. I would not buy into this is a repeat of 2021 in terms of the money flow that can go into stocks. And that even crosses over to something like Tesla. If we go to Tesla, Tesla had a great move and is continuing to have a nice little move. It's actually up pre-market this morning. But the problem is that you don't have the same financial conditions that you had when you were up at the all-time highs.
Bitcoin rallied from the fringe of $22,000 to over $24,500 within 3 days of the new Consumer Price Index report. This rally is surprising because the latest CPI report isn't reassuring that inflation is coming under control. The prediction for the inflation rate in January was 6.2%, but it came at 6.4% based on the year-on-year rate. But on a month-on-month basis, inflation is actually up by 0.5%. Why should this matter? If you've been following the markets, you'll know that inflation has been the biggest economic drawback in the past year. This has resulted in harsh fiscal policies meant to curb the high inflation rate, but with the side effect of crumbling markets, including the crypto market. With a CPI that's still really high, hopes of the Fed cutting rates are dashed. It's now certain that the quantitative easing many investors were hoping for, again, won't come early. We can be certain that the Federal Reserve Bank would respond by increasing the rate, which is already high at 5%. It's not just Bitcoin that's on the rise. Stocks of some companies, such as Tesla and Airbnb, are also up. Is it time to buy them? Since Tesla slashed the price of their EVs, we've seen an incredible rally in the company's stock in the past month. We've seen it move an incredible 105% at its peak rally earlier this month. Gareth Soloway acknowledges that these market rallies are good signs for both cryptocurrencies and big tech stocks, but it's not enough to restore a bullish sentiment to the markets just yet. Inflation is still a problem, high interest rates are still a barrier to getting credits, and there's even a possibility of rates being increased more when the next Federal Open Market Committee meet. For now, Gareth predicts that Bitcoin would still crash to $18,000 before it rallies again.
I think what we have to remember, though, is that, it takes time for this to actually process through the companies. So when you see a move up like that on Airbnb, it's just too far too fast. So I'm not saying that over the next 6 or 12 months, Airbnb won't be a good investment. But at least in the near term, if you're more of a swing trader like myself, you're looking to short that level and cover right around that 120 to 130 level. And by the way, you've seen so much craziness in this market right now with this kind of rejuvenation of 2021, where people are buying all these stocks like Coinbase and Tesla. Tesla today is one of my top shorts out there. The price action is horrendous over the last day or so. You're seeing lots of technical distribution, big money unloading into it. And I think you have to be very careful here. The earmarks of the Bitcoin move this morning and into today, exactly what a blow off top in the near term looks like. So I'm very cautious here, folks. Again, we just got bullered out with some news talking very hawkishly about rates. We have the PPI numbers hotter. The rates are not going down. If anything, they're going up in the near term.
In 2021, when Bitcoin crossed $60,000 for the first time, investment experts were able to link the price appreciation to the federal stimulus. The Fed interest rates were practically zero at the time, which enabled crypto investors to access funds through cheap credits. All these factors have changed. Economic conditions are the opposite of what they used to be, but there's a currently bullish sentiment which Gareth thinks originates from the experience of the 2021 bull run. The risk-off sentiment is currently setting in particular in the stock market, as investors realise that rates are likely to go up and not down. We could see risk-off sentiment get to the cryptocurrency market in the coming days. As always, it's important to keep in mind the economic conditions when investing, as they directly dictate the market's mood. Right now, things aren't looking good in the economy, so can we be confident that the market rallies are sustainable? But what about you guys? What do you think? If you like our work, show us by liking this video and subscribing. We'll see you in the next video.